Good afternoon, everyone. Добрый день, коллеги. I'm Ksenia Tabakova, a PhD student from University of Helsinki in Art Institute. Originally, I'm from Russia, where I grew up, and graduated from St. Petersburg State University from Geography faculty. In Helsinki, I study aerosol cloud interactions. During the last virtual meeting, I was given a talk on transferable skills training and how positively it impacts our PhD students here in INAR. And today I would like to continue with this topic and share with you how assistant intensive courses work and why it is a fantastic way to train in transferable skills. I have been an assistant and intensive courses many times, and not only in Finland, so I have gathered quite a lot of experience on this matter I would like to share. So today, first I will explain why intensive courses are a playground of a real life. Then I'll break down various transferable skills and how we develop them during courses. And then I will talk how to take the most out of these assistant duties. So when we volunteer or when we are assigned to the course, there are certain responsibilities placed on us. First of all, we are in charge of all hands-on help. Even though there are also teachers and professors in the course, normally it is assistants who would sit down and solve various issues, for example, code, or schedules, presentations, and so on. And we also answer questions on science, theory, and just anything about the ongoing course project. Then assistants work on planning, coordinating, and managing tasks of the course project. Together with teachers and professors, we help to have the work process as smooth and optimized as possible. And lastly, we have to be a support point in any sense for students. Considering the stress and intensity, we need to make sure that students feel heard, appreciated, and supported. Sometimes a student needs a kind word, sometimes extra push and encouragement, and of course, everyone needs a positive feedback. All in all, the intensive course is a perfect playground for real life. This is the opportunity to take on the role of a leader. As an assistant, of course, you're not the only one there who is leading the group, but every assistant has its own area of expertise, tasks, and several students to focus on. Then, working on the same project, you're like a cog in this big machine. You have your own tasks that you need to make sure are completed. You're keeping an eye on the progress of others, you listen to their ideas, you make plans together, and you adjust your own activities if needed. And intensive courses mimic real work process. You have co-workers, supervisors, supervised, we brainstorm, we make hypotheses, we work with data, we communicate our science, we write reports, and so on. And all this in a setting of the course within a short period of time in a very dynamic manner. Almost any transferable skill you can think of will be utilized and trained during the school. I will focus on some of this today, but I'm sure that you will be able to imagine how the other skills are trained too. So, leadership. Even though students accepted to the course undergo selection procedure, their backgrounds, technical and language skills differ. Furthermore, some students are naturally more advanced in their studies and some less. And all this had to be considered during the work at the course. Assistants as leaders have to be able to assess fast all factors and make decisions that would benefit the whole work. Assistants also overlook time management. Progress has to be reevaluated along the way and plans need to be adjusted. Students that are new to the concept of intensive courses usually have some difficulties with the time management. Therefore, we as assistants, we are training ourselves to recognize their personal needs. Furthermore, when groups are presenting their ideas and results several times during the course, they receive feedback and guidance from professors. And after every presentation, groups sit together and look at this feedback and defines the path of work for the upcoming hours and days. This is where leadership and decision-making come together. Assistants learn how to be quick and flexible, confident, but accessible to the students they supervise. It is a very dynamic process where you make executive decisions on the fly. As a leader, it is essential to be skilled in giving feedback in a productive way. So we learn how to acknowledge the efforts of students and listen to their needs. And even though everyone is different and processes challenges and stress in an individual manner, we all need support from peers, and especially from supervisors. At intensive courses, it is all about teamwork by design. We work together and we achieve great things together. So at the course, even though we come from different levels in our career, there is no hierarchy and things are rather flat. So it's kind of just the way we usually do it at the University of Helsinki, very flat structure. And as a team member, as an assistant, I also make sure that I do my part. For assistants in practice, it usually means kind of longer hours of work. But if I have promised something to my teammates, to my students, I might see that I deliver it, doesn't matter what happens, even if I need to work longer. And then me as an assistant, I am there to learn too at the course. So I look for coding tricks or cool science communication approaches, or if the students know some interesting data, I keep my mind open. I share my best practices, but I'm always looking for the best practices of others. I have already briefly touched about difference in backgrounds and skills of students that we assess as the course goals. And it is very important to understand what way of communication students need as well. Some prefer very structured step-by-step guidance, and some like to work individually, and they can get all the information they need from papers or from just Googling it. Some students have excellent English skills, and some still work on it. So it is our responsibility to make sure that we communicate with students in a fair manner. So nobody must feel discriminated just because they don't understand English that well, for instance. And the same with the feedback. Students in the group, they will be naturally comparing their results with each other. So for some students, it might take the whole day to produce one graph, while their teammate would only need an hour. But the truth is that relative speed of progress doesn't really matter. And both results are a sign of the growth and progress. So the courses, we assistants learn how to recognize these differences and communicate feedback accordingly. And also, we're not just we're not robots. We're not just bosses there. We are humans too. So I believe that we have to show all the spectrum of emotions that we experience as well. So the students can get to know our personalities and they can relate to us and see that working with them at the course is important and valuable for us. Problem solving. In my last talk, I was talking that this is one of the most valuable transferable skills in and out of academia. And during an intensive course, you will encounter problems every day, all the time, from IT issues to some coding bugs. And the most frustrating issue for students actually is when hypothesis is not supported by the data they're working with. But we all know that in science, negative result is result too, and all outcomes are valuable. So, and even though students, they tend to take this very negatively and very pessimistically. So anyhow, this is one of the most important problems that we as assistants must go through. So this is the great training for us, for our leadership, for our teamwork and our communication. We learn how to recognize whether it is something like in our hypothesis, in a method, or it is just not possible to achieve. So we need to make sure we guide our students through this big problem. And of course, in problem solving, you need to remember to stay human, right? Even if things are difficult and challenging. So how to take the most of these courses in terms of transferable skills training? So I would say that you need to take it seriously, you have to be attentive, and you need to put your heart into it. You have to pay close attention to the atmosphere in a group and look for the signs of success and trouble. According to my observations, students are doing well when they are visibly motivated and proactive. Another obvious sign is that they show growth, whether it is technical growth or they get a better grasp on a studied subject. And then students, they're reasonably stressed. It might be tricky to recognize whether the stress, the experience is healthy. So you might need to look for some other signs, for example, how they're communicating with other students, do they share their problems and how? And also such things as the body language or face expressions, they help you. And great sign of success with students work late when they want to because they can't stop, they're so interested to the subject. If, however, you spot a trouble in a group, it is important now to put to work all your transferable skills to help your group to recover. The signs of trouble typically include such things as doing bare minimum. This means that your students are not motivated. And this is not because these are some lazy students or bad students. No, there are never bad or lazy students, nothing like that. So something went wrong somewhere. And students, you need to look what happened in the process and fix it. Then students, they don't communicate, especially with assistants and teachers. This really happens sometimes, right? This is serious trouble that you need to, work on. This is a sign of frustration, actually. Yeah. And then the last sign, I would say, is that students are unreasonably stressed. They worry way too much. And these actually motivated students that are reasonably stressed. They just maybe expect too much from them out of perfectionist. They need to deliver, So, and the last sign of the trouble is that when students work too late, not because they're inspired, but because they're way too worried that they have to deliver these results. So, as a supervisor, you actually don't want this to happen. You want every student to use the skills they already have, and then you give them the tasks so that they can grow organically from it. So I am already close to the end of my talk, and I would like to summarize what personal qualities do you train during such courses that help you to become a better scientist, a better postdoc, a better future leader. First is the confidence. We all have insecurities and doubts, but in reality, we are much more capable when we think of ourselves. So at these intensive courses, it's a good time to put aside all your doubts and tame those insecurities. Then independence. You learn how to generate your ideas and be able to defend them in a group, prove that they're worthy, and make sure that they see the light by your own initiative. Then responsibility. Take responsibility for good and bad results, analyze what went well or what could have been improved, where you didn't do enough, or maybe you overdid something. Things happen, so you need to understand your role in the outcome of the course and apply lessons learned in the future. Then you learn how to be assertive. You help others to overcome difficulties and give them human support. Then open-mindedness. Remember that this is about horizontal learning. You keep your eyes and ears open for other ideas and practices, but you also keep your heart open for other cultures and mentalities. And the last quality is the resilience. Encountering problems every day might sound harsh, but believe me, you will learn how not to despair no matter what at a course like this. So my final words is following. Assisting intensive course can be much more than just a duty. And this is where you can put all your theory about transferable skills to practice. And take this and push your skills to the completely new level. Thank you very much. That's all I had on this topic. And if you have any questions, I would be happy to answer them.
Thank you, Ksenia. I don't see yet questions, but there are positive comments. That very effective presentation. Thanks a lot. So please, colleagues, if you do have questions, also you can type in chat, and we can directly send to Ksenia as well.
Sure. Yes.
Okay.
I stop sharing.
Yeah. If you don't have any more questions.